They say the Olympic National Forest keeps its secrets close, hides them deep in the old growth, under a canopy so thick the sun forgets to shine. Those who venture in, well, some ain't never coming out. This is their story. It started with a missing person report. Billy Ray Johnson, a college kid who went hiking near Hurricane Ridge and never returned. Search parties found nothing, just a feeling, a chill in the air, thicker than the fog rolling in off the Pacific. Sheriff Brody, a grizzled old man who'd seen it all, called it a bad feeling, one that clung to you like the damp moss on the ancient trees. Then came Sarah Jenkins, a pretty girl, sharp as a tack. She'd been camping with her boyfriend, Dale, who returned shaken, babbling about something watching them from the trees, something with eyes that glowed in the dark. Sarah vanished, leaving only a broken tent and a single muddy men's boot, a size 10. Sheriff Brody started looking closer. Each victim, Billy Ray, Sarah, had been stripped of something deeper than possessions. Their joy, their hope, their very essence seemed sucked dry. Locals whispered of the Forest Watcher, a creature, a spirit, something ancient hidden deep within the woods, feeding on the life force of those who stray too far, drawn to fear, to despair. Deputy Hank Miller, Brody's young, eager partner, dismissed it as folklore until his radio crackled with a strained message. "Sheriff, I think it's watching me." Frantic breathing, then a high-pitched scream abruptly cut off. Silence, except for an unsettling drone. And then, we found Hank's flashlight, its battery dead, a single word scrawled inside in what looked like blood. Next. Deputy Miller was gone, vanished like a wisp of smoke in the Olympics' thick fog. Sheriff Brody wasn't sleeping easy. Neither was anyone else in Forks. A search party, led by Deputy Dale, vanished, leaving only silence and the rustling whispers of ancient trees. Then came the calls, not from the forest, but from terrified residents. Sleep paralysis, vivid nightmares, whispers of a presence, a cold breath on their necks, even surrounded by family. Young Timmy O'Malley, barely 8, swore he saw it standing by his window. Glowing eyes, impossibly tall, with branches for fingers. The Forest Watcher. A creature of myth and nightmare, fueled by fear itself. Haunted by the blood-red next, Sheriff Brody knew he couldn't wait. He had to go in, alone, armed with a shotgun, a prayer, and a gut feeling that screamed something ancient and evil was hunting in those woods. He followed a faint trail etched in fear and desperation, twisted trees clawing at him, the air heavy with the scent of damp earth and something metallic, coppery, like blood. A blood-curdling shriek, a gunshot, then a gruesome sight, not the Watcher, but a message carved into a massive Douglas fir. "You're..." 8 years as sheriff, Brody had seen his share of bad things, but nothing prepared him for this. The message was a warning, an invitation. Timmy's words echoed. "It watches. From the trees. It knows your name." Another sign, a spiral of thorns carved into a massive Douglas fir. He started hearing a low growl deep in his chest, like the forest itself was breathing, exhaling menace. A scream. Close. Too close. He ran, bursting into a clearing to find Deputy Dale, mangled beyond recognition, a massive, 3-toed footprint beside him. Brody's flashlight beam died, leaving him in total darkness, the gurgling and rustling of something large moving through the undergrowth. 8 years, Brody'd seen it all, but nothing prepared him for this. Deputy Dale's body, the look on his face, frozen in terror. 3 claw marks deep as canyons carved into his chest. 3 toes. A kid's whimper led Brody to Timmy Jenkins, who'd warned about the Watcher. Timmy pointed into the darkness, whispering about something big and black, and it growled. A branch snapped overhead. Brody pulled out his gun, but it felt pathetically small. He felt a cold dread creep into his bones. Something ancient, something primal. This wasn't a man, not an animal. Something beyond human comprehension. A colossal shape rose from the darkness, blotting out the moonlight. Too big to be human. A dark, hulking mass, claws like dinner plates. Brody fired, but the creature lunged. A sickening thud. Silence. 3 toes identical to those found on Dale, and next to them, Timmy's shoe. The Olympic National Forest, they say, swallows you whole. Brody learned that lesson the hard way. Or rather, what was left of him learned it. Weeks later, I found a small fire, charred remains of jerky. Timmy's favorite. It was close, the air heavy with decay and something ancient. A flicker of movement. Something scaly, massive, lurking behind a redwood's trunk. I ran. I didn't stop till I hit the highway. I know what I saw, but I don't know if it was chasing me or just watching. Waiting. Weeks passed. Every rustle of leaves sent a shiver down my spine. The forest remembers. This forest was waiting. I found more evidence. A track. Not animal, but something bigger, wider. The earth was disturbed, like something colossal had knelt there. The smell was worse. Decay mixed with something metallic. I followed the trail deeper. The trees gnarled and twisted, the air thick and suffocating. I could feel it. A presence, a weight, pressing down, hungry. I heard a low rumble like a giant shifting in its sleep, bones grinding together. I ran, tripped, fell, and looked up. A whisper so close. Another offering. A deafening roar, and I ran again. I woke up, ribs crushed, head swimming, blood dripping, tasting like pine needles and something wrong. A branch, snapped clean in 2, thick as my waist, dragged through the undergrowth. The trees, scarred and broken. The undergrowth flattened. The smell worse. A weight pressing down. Hungry. I heard a low rumble, a giant shifting in its sleep. Bones grinding. I ran. I tripped. I looked up and heard a whisper. Another offering. A roar, a scream, and then silence. 11 days since Hank Miller disappeared. 11 days since the whispers started. Sheriff Brody's not a believer in ghosts, but what he and Deputy Dawson saw, well, it ain't something you unsee. They found Dawson near the Hoh rainforest, torn apart. A clearing, unnatural in its perfection, undergrowth flattened, a footprint 7 feet across, claw marks like Bowie knives. A hole in the ground, breathing, closing. The dispatch said movement northwest, towards the Quileute Reservation. That hum, in my bones. A low thrumming that makes your teeth ache, makes you feel small. And those whimpers? I saw it again. That shadow, massive. I fired, it didn't flinch. Then I heard that dragging sound, something huge being hauled across the forest floor. That's what got me. The weight of it. Some colossal creature dragging something huge. I'm knee-deep in the mud, can't see through the trees. The fog is thick, a branch cracked, a low growl. I saw movement, a shadow. Massive. I fired. Then that dragging sound. Closer, a shriek, a wet gurgling sound. I screamed. 11 days since Hank Miller vanished. 11 days since the world started turning sideways. Dawson, they found him. Shredded. It wasn't a bear, wasn't nothing natural. That hum, it's in my bones now. A low, constant thrumming. Makes your teeth ache, makes you feel small. Those whimpers, human, but wrong, twisted. The dispatch said movement northwest, towards the Quileute Reservation. This ain't natural, Deputy. Ain't no bear or mountain lion does this. I saw it again. That shadow. Bigger than any animal. I fired. Didn't even flinch. Then, that dragging sound. Something huge, being hauled. The weight of it. Some colossal creature dragging something. Something huge. I'm knee-deep in the mud. Can't see. The fog is thick. My flashlight beam only cuts through a few feet. This ain't just some crazy animal. This is beyond anything. Beyond human. I'm afraid, all right? terrified. A branch cracked. A low growl. I saw movement. A shadow. Massive. I fired. Then, that dragging sound. Close by. Something heavy. Being dragged. And then, whimpers. Human whimpers. Coming from the thing. Being dragged.